Bolliger and Mabillard are one of the greatest roller coaster manufacturers of all time. They're also known for playing it safe and not really innovating, with notable exceptions like Oblivion or Air at Alton Towers. I've ridden some great B&Ms across Midwest America and Canada. I'm Atomic, and this is my top 10 roller coasters by B&M.
Ryan Little.
Number 10. Dominator at King's Dominion. Starting off the list is my favorite floorless coaster, out of the two that I've been on. This one has a parking lot setting, but it is still really fun. When I went this year, it was a complete walk-on. I only got one ride, however, as I wanted to get some rides on other roller coasters. The layout is very good, with a lot of large elements in the first half, and a lot of smaller spaghetti bowl elements in the second half. Overall, a great addition to King's Dominion. Number 9. Griffin at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Griffin is your average dive coaster. The hard restraints are better than the vest restraints, but unlike one later in this video, it doesn't really have anything else noteworthy after the first drop, with the exception of the splashdown. To be honest, I don't really remember this coaster all too well. I only got one ride, and that was in the back row. It's still a really fun ride, and it uses the terrain very well. Number 8. Elton Geist at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. This coaster is absolutely amazing. I'm personally not a huge fan of inverts, but this one does it right. It feels gigantic because of the terrain. The way it weaves around it is amazing. I got two rides, one at midday and one at night. A night ride on this is insane, but I almost liked my midday ride better, as there was a lot of fog around all the dives. Overall, this is a great coaster with a great use of terrain. Number 7. Yukon Striker at Canada's Wonderland. Yes, I know, a lot of people are going to be upset because I like this more than Griffin, but I think that this is the better ride. Most dive coasters have an amazing first drop, but not much after that. Yukon is the notable exception. The first drop is amazing, and it's followed by 4 great inversions. The drop off the mid-course is great in the back row as it whips you over the edge. I got to ride this 15 times this year, the second most I've ever ridden a roller coaster. And number 6, Behemoth at Canada's Wonderland. This is a great hypercoaster. It has a really nice out and back layout and is the first thing you see when driving into the park. It has a really nice setting next to the water park on the right and a little lake on the left. This ride has some amazing floater, especially in the back row. The final helix is the closest that I've ever been to graying out on a coaster other than Intimidator 305. Overall, it's a great coaster and it was a great addition to Canada's Wonderland. Number 5. Banshee at Kings Island. This is the best invert I've ever been on. The layout is super good, with a lot of inversions. The last roll gives you a lot of hang time as you go through it very slow. Even though a lot of the versions are very large, Banshee has tons of sustained Gs throughout. The theming, although basic, is very nice. And I wonder if other coasters like Firehawk and Vortex will get their own graves, just like Son of Beast did. Number 4. Thunderbird at Holiday World. This ride is amazing. When Holiday World announced that they were adding a steel coaster, people were a bit skeptical, but this is just what the park needed. The launch is surprisingly forceful, and the concept works really well with wing coasters. The barn near misses are great, and it interacts with the voyage really well. I only got one ride on this, but I'm curious to see if it will be better or worse when I ride it again next year. Number 3. Leviathan at Canada's Wonderland. The first B&M Giga coaster, and the coaster that really put Canada's Wonderland on the map. It's basically a smaller Fury, but it's still amazing. It has a lot of really good airtime, specifically the small ejector speed hill right before the giant camelback. My only problem with this is the length. It feels really short, and the brake run's also hilarious since it's taller than Dragonfire right next to it. Number 2. Diamondback at Kings Island. Instead of the traditional floater air on most B&M hypers, Diamondback gives amazing long drawn-out bits of floater. It's a very picturesque coaster, with the drop over the path and the infamous splashdown. It goes so far out in the back of the park, just like all the other coasters at Kings Island do. With this being such a good coaster, it'll be interesting to see if Orion passes it up as the best at Kings Island. And this definitely deserves to be in my top 10 of all time. Number 1. Fury 325 at Carowinds. What can I say about this coaster? The layout's almost perfect. The huge 325-foot drop feels like you're falling forever. It's my favorite drop on any roller coaster, but that's a topic for another time. This coaster gives some sweet ejector and some really nice floating. The treble cleft and dive is also one of the most picturesque roller coaster elements in the world. I have had the amazing opportunity to ride this roller coaster 24 times over my 2 visits. It's my most ridden roller coaster of all time. The theming, although simple, is very nice to look at. I knew that this was my favorite the first time I rode it back in 2016, and it's in contested territory right now. But that's a topic for another week. Thank you so very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe as it helps promote my channel in the algorithm. I'm Atomic, and I will see you all in the next video.